Posted earlier. Following a 2-year break due to the COVID pandemic, members of Heritage Brass are thrilled to be back to present our annual concert and have the O'Neill Chamber Choir, conducted by Erin Collins, as our guest this evening. I will be formally introducing the choir just a little bit later. Your support tonight is appreciated, and it's good to have our divisional leaders, Lieutenant Colonel Sean and Brenda Critch, with us here tonight. Let's begin our concert by singing some familiar words. The words associated with this music appropriately provides the basis for the ministry of Heritage Brass. Please stand as you are able. We will sing the 3 verses accompanied by the band. There will be a short introduction by the band for verses 1 and 3. Please remain standing for prayer. Father God, we've gathered together tonight, and as we have just been singing, we ask the Lord's blessing on our fellowship. We're grateful for this opportunity to assemble here and enjoy the gift of music. We're so thankful for the many ways that you bless us and enrich our lives. We enjoy freedom, friends, faith, our measure of health, and opportunity, and with music. So many things we often take for granted. I solicit your blessing for all who participate and contribute to this concert tonight. These things I pray in Jesus' name, amen. Please be seated. As mentioned earlier, our guests tonight are the O'Neill Chamber Choir, conducted by Erin Collins. This is the 3rd time the choir has been our guest at the annual Heritage Brass Concert. 2013, 2018, and again tonight. Apparently every 4 or 5 years. I guess we should start planning for 2026. The O'Neill Chamber Choir is a 50-voice choir from O'Neill Collegiate in Oshawa. The choir is composed of students in grades 11 and 12 from the auditioned performing arts program. It is represented by enthusiastic students who are dedicated to upholding the tradition of choral excellence that has been part of O'Neill for over 30 years. Their diverse repertoire includes both sacred and secular music from Renaissance through to modern works. The chamber choir is excited to resume their busy concert schedule in the community and beyond. In addition to Canadian tours, past ensembles have had the opportunity to travel to Germany, England, Italy, and the United States. In 2019, the ensemble was invited to sing at Carnegie Hall in a mass choir experience with composer, conductor Eric Whitaker. I've had triplet grandchildren graduate from O'Neill, so I can verify that this is an excellent school for learning. Erin Collins, the conductor, is a proud alumnus of the O'Neill Music Department. After graduating from the musical faculty at the University of Western Ontario, she returned as an arts educator to O'Neill College in 1998. Currently, Ms. Collins is the head of the arts department at O'Neill and teaches vocal music and drama. To support music teachers and students provincially, Ms. Collins serves on the executive of the Ontario Vocal Festival Organization and hosts a regional choral festival at O'Neill CVI. Please welcome our guests, Erin Collins and the O'Neill Chamber Choir. Oh. Yeah. It was nice to see you. Very anxious. We're very anxious to hear you. And in just a minute, the band is going to play, but let me tell you a little bit about this group. Heritage Brass is an age 55 plus band of the Salvation Army based in Toronto, and the members are veterans of Army banding. In fact, we have some members in their 80s, but still going strong. The motivation and purpose of the band is to communicate the gospel of Jesus Christ through music, ministry, and encouragement. The band is active in church functions and worship services throughout Ontario, and extended tours have taken place to British Columbia, Newfoundland, United Kingdom, and Florida. Tonight, the band will be conducted by Mr. Curtis Metcalf. Okay, let's get on with the concert. Is there anyone here tonight? Is there anyone here tonight with Welsh heritage? If so, you'll be very pleased as the band plays the march, Men of Harlech. Come back, come back.
Well, hello, Oshawa. I almost didn't make it today. I got lost. Oshawa's changed quite a bit. And of course, you moved the church. You know, the last time I was at the core in Oshawa, it was the old building quite a bit south of here, right? And who was it was Hall. Keith Hall was the officer. Does anybody know what year that was? Well, you do know, but no one's saying. Okay, so it was a long time ago. Anyway, I had to call my brother to see where I should be today, and I found my way here, and I'm very glad. I'm glad that you're all here as well. It was a lovely day, wasn't it? It was perfect. I hope you weren't one of those people spending the day raking leaves. I saw a lot of people raking leaves today. So leave that for the grandkids. It's great to be here. I'm going to enjoy this program more than the band. They have to play notes, and all I do is wave my arm, which is the easy bit. I want to thank you for your support, and I want to thank you, taxpayers, for keeping your taxes paid every year, because there's many of us here on the platform that exist because of that old age security check every month. And we just want to thank you for that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the gas money to get to rehearsal. Also, thank you for applauding for so long. I was at the back of that line, and I thought, well, we do take a long time to get in here, don't we? But anyway, that was very kind of you. Right, so we have an interesting program, I believe, and we're going to start with a piece that was commissioned over 50 years ago, and the composer, Robert Redhead, wrote this for a band in London, Wood Green's Citadel Band, and their tour to Finland, and it's a suite in 3 movements. Does that say that on there? No? So don't applaud after the first one, right? You don't want to get caught. So there's 3 movements, and they're all Finnish folk songs. And when Redhead was commissioned to write the piece, he was asked, could it be very melodic? So the tunes, all the way through this piece, Redhead has kept to the melodies of these Finnish folk songs. And the only thing he changes, if you listen carefully, the only thing that changes is the rhythms underneath the melody and sometimes the harmony. So this is quite easy listening. It's a suite, the Finnish suite by Robert Redhead. I wasn't going to talk, but then I thought people might need to rest their chops a little bit, get some blood back into them. We had a rehearsal on Thursday, and then we had a Botox session just to plump up the lips. So we just need to get that back working, and then we'll play the next piece. Everybody okay? Yes. The good thing is we had the Botox. The bad thing is they're starting to look like Kardashians. We're going to, when I was a teenager, a million decades ago, my favorite music was Earth, Wind, and Fire, Chicago, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, bands like that had horns in them. But I had a friend, Carl Bowe's son, Cord. Some of you might remember Carl Bowes, but this kid I hung around with had a weird taste in music. He made me go to the CNE to see Liza Minnelli as a teenager. Yeah, it was unbelievable. And, I thought he was weird before I was his friend, and now, And then he made me go see Lawrence Welk. Yes, and we had the bubble machine, the whole thing going. And tonight, I thought, well, we'll play a spiritual, but this is Deep River, and it's in a Lawrence Welk sort of band feel. And I don't have a baton quite as substantial as Lawrence, but I can say one and a two and a. So that's how we're going to start this. Everybody's okay? This is Deep River. Featuring Oshawa's own. Who should we feature? Well, you'll see who's featured. And this is Erin Collins. Would you like a microphone up there? Oh, and very nice. Well, yes, we're very glad you're here. I was thinking, really, when you start to add everything up, the average age of the performer tonight is about 40. So we're very glad you came.
Thank you for that warm welcome multiple times. Appreciate it. We feel very welcome. We're so happy to be here. It has been a long time since we've been out performing in the community, as you well know. Probably a long time since you've maybe been an audience, some of you. This is just so special to be out here again performing. So thank you for the invitation. Salvation Army, Heritage Brass, we are so happy to be your guests. I'll have my students introducing our pieces and telling you a little bit about them.
Ayangena is a traditional Zulu song from South Africa. Last year, we were fortunate to learn this song from a culture bearer from South Africa, Travis Fick. We were taught this piece in an authentic manner, which is by rote, as traditional pieces are passed from generation to generation orally. We learned a lot about South Africa. It has 11 official languages, and the Zulu are the largest ethnic group. We also learned that during the apartheid era, people of color in South Africa were not permitted to congregate unless it was for religious reasons. And that is why much of the traditional music from South Africa has religious subtext. Travis taught us movement to accompany the piece. We learned that movement is synonymous with music from this part of the world, and the rhythm games are a part of the culture. The general meaning of the song is letting good prosper over evil, and when put into context for South Africa, the evil was apartheid. The piece is jovial, lighthearted, and optimistic for the future, that good will inevitably prosper. Finally, we learned that South African music is to be shared. They celebrate community and all peoples coming together through music. South Africans are proud to have their music performed by people around the world. We feel privileged to have been gifted this piece to sing and share with others.
Oh, yeah, sounds good. Okay. Last fall, we were approached by the Durham Regional Police Appreciation Committee to create an a cappella arrangement of Stand By Me that would be the basis for a promotional video reminding donors of the outstanding work that is constantly being done by the police. The senior vocal class experimented, arranged, rehearsed, and recorded the piece. This is a slightly different version that we prepared for their in-person dinner this fall. It features soloists Adoria, Ava, Lucy, and Jess.
The moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand long way to that mic. There we go.
The following program notes are taken from notes from the composer. He was inspired to create Earth Song during a time of disillusionment with the war in Iraq. He felt a strong impulse to create something that would impress his own personal longing for peace. It was this longing which engendered the poem's creation. It is not just a poem, but a prayer, a plea, a wish, a bid to find inner peace in a world that seems eternally bent on war and hatred. But also, the poem is a steadfast declaration of the power of music to heal. In the end, the speaker in the poem discovers that through music, he is the embodiment of hope, peace, the song within the song. Perhaps music has the power not only to nurture inner peace, but also to open hearts and ears in a world that desperately needs love and listening.
Well, thank you. That was really lovely. Thank you very much. Good evening. There's a tune in the Salvation Army tune book called Laudate Dominum. And before we play some variations on that tune, we would like you to sing the song. So I invite you to stand, if you will, and we will sing. If you don't know it, sing anyway. We'll make a joyful noise unto the Lord together. And everyone will love it except the people on the live stream, but don't worry about that. Okay.
So thanks for singing that. We are going to play a piece written by Edward Gregson, Laudate Dominum, and it's in complete contrast to the finished suite that we did of Robert Redhead's. So in Robert Redhead's piece, you remember, it was just the melody all the way through. In this piece, Edward Gregson takes that tune that you just sang, and he doesn't give us that until the end of the piece. What happens is he takes little bits of the melody and creates variations on them. You're going to hear at the very beginning the first frame of the tune in the trombones, and then you don't get very much of it until the end. But it's a much shorter piece than Edward Gregson wrote. You're going to hear 5 variations. He actually wrote 7 variations. And the Salvation Army refused to publish them because they said people wouldn't sit for that long. So we have it down to 5 variations. So you're going to hear an intro and then 5 separate variations, and then you get the tune at the end. And then we have a 12-minute, not 11 or 13-minute intermission. And when you hear some noise up here on the platform, you'll know it's time to get your seat again. So this is Laudate Dominum.
Skies was composed by Irving Berlin in 1926 as a last-minute addition to the Rodgers and Hart musical Betsy. Although the show only ran for 39 performances, Blue Skies was an instant success, with audiences on opening night demanding 24 encores of the piece.
Just the Way You Are and Just a Dream mashup by Bruno Mars and Nelly, respectively, is a mashup featured in the first Pitch Perfect movie. Featured soloists are Jess Doherty, Maddie Lakis, Ava Kosterick, and Cassidy McKee.
Song, written by Toronto musician Paul Reed, was a 1993 commission by Bill and Ava Becker for their London church choir. The text comes from a collection of poems written by children who, while incarcerated in the Terezin concentration camp in Czechoslovakia during World War II, wrote of their experiences and dreams. This young author writes of the beauty of the world rather than the horrors and destruction of his or her present circumstances. The text's positive and uplifting message is all the more striking when placed against the backdrop of war and the loss of personal freedom.
To
We're gonna play a little Leroy Anderson. Who knows Leroy Anderson's most famous work? Come on. Sleigh Ride. I hear some people, right, so you know Sleigh Ride. And he wrote lots of other novelty items like the typewriter. I think that's my favorite. But this is Bugler's Holiday, which is quite a famous work as well. And we have 3 young buglers. Right beside me here is Ken Ritson, and in the middle is Derek Diffie and Kevin Metcalf on the far side. Both Kevin and Ken are retired Salvation Army pastors, and we put them on either side of Derek because of his reputation. I know what you're thinking. I can't believe this conductor is going to feature himself now. It's not like that at all. We had an E-flat tuba player not being able to join us this evening, so I'm filling in this one piece. We thought, we always feature cornet players, right, in brass band, so we thought we'd feature some low brass, and we're going to play a little night music, a little Mozart for you. You're used to hearing this on strings, of course, but now you're going to hear it on tenor tuba and tuba.
While we're getting set here, this little transition, I'll just, you might notice it says O'Neill Chamber Choir for all of our sets, but there hasn't been the same groupings of students every time. All these students are fantastic singers, as I'm sure you've heard, but it takes a long time to make all these individual fantastic singers sound like a choir. So coming back in September and trying to get ready for a program in 5 to 6 weeks was really tough. What we ended up doing was pulling some of our music that we learned in April, May, June of last year when we were so grateful to be able to sing again after the March break. So you've been seeing the entire chamber choir of grade 11 and 12 students. You've seen the grade 10 class from last year, which is now my grade 11s. They did What a Wonderful World in Blue Skies. You saw part of the Treble Voices choir, and this is part of our men's choir. So you're getting a whole gambit of all the different choirs we have. Did I come up too early? Or you're just getting prepared? You're making me very nervous tonight. I think I'm following the program, but okay, fantastic. So I will have our next song introduced.
All right. The Longest Time is a doo-wop song by Billy Joel, released in 1984. Following the theme of the album and paying tribute to Joel's musical influences, the song is presented in the style of Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. It features many soloists from our ensemble: Lucas, Jake, Nathan, Erin, Beckham, Jack, Quinn, and Owen Mixon.
What do you guys like better?
Was gone. Now I know that happiness goes on.
That's where you found me when you put your arms around me. I haven't been there for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time.
That voice you're hearing in the hall, the greatest miracle of all, is how I need you and how you needed me too. That hasn't happened for the longest time. Maybe this won't last very long, but you feel so right that I could be wrong. Maybe I've been hoping too hard, but I've gone this far, and it's more than I hoped for.
Who knows how much for
Manly Men is a humorous work highlighting the stereotypes and standards, for better or for worse, of men's choirs. You will hear quoted familiar melodies such as Verdi's La Donna è Mobile and the Toreador's song from Carmen, set to new words to fit the egos of each different voice part.
We are men and we like to sing in big block chords and close harmony. Our songs all sound the same, and most of them are really lame. But though we may not always inspire, who are second best. Baritones are by far the sexiest. Here's the part our vocal stuff pleases. We will sing when we're just 45 with vibratos 5 miles wide. If God came down and took our brains away, then they would sing on a melody. We are tired of progressions, walking bass lines, record sessions, where all we sing is that stupid dip-dip-dip-dop. We try so hard with all our mights to sing so low we shake the lights. We wish we had voices like James Earl Jones or Barry White. But we're just human, our throats are hurting, and our low singing sounds more like burping. But we're voices, we keep singing, 'cause we are men and we like to sing in big block chords and close harmony. Our songs all sound the same, like bad rewrites of There Is Nothing Like a Day, and though our
How do you compete with that? Well, you've been a delight, O'Neill, all the choirs. It's been a treat to share this concert with you, and I hope that at some point we'll be able to do that again. You've inspired us in that we're now going to do a choir number, and if you are studying music, some of you will know the name Gabrielli, who wrote lots of brass music, and they played it in Venice at St. Mark's Cathedral, and they had antiphonal choirs just like this. So we have two choirs here and the choir here, and we're going to play some music from St. Mark's. And this is J.S. Bach's Jays of Joy, and we've divided the choirs up by wealth.
I'd like to read a verse with you from Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 7. And the background is that the children of Israel were on their journey through the desert, and God wanted to speak to their leader Moses and give him some assurance. And this is what he said. The Lord your God has blessed you in all the work of your hands. He's watched over your journey through this vast wilderness. These 40 years the Lord your God has been with you, and you have not lacked anything. I'd like to look at the travel that he talked about. And I dare to say that this last 2.5 years, most of us here have not done too much traveling. Vacations, holidays, day trips here and there, for safety reasons or because we didn't feel secure about it. So I'll tell you what I'd like to do tonight. I'd like to invite you to come with me and let's go on a road trip down in America. So let's go down where it's going to be nice and warm, and we'll go to Arizona. And I checked on the map where we might go on this road trip just for a few days. So the first place I saw was Y. WHY is a place in Arizona. And we're going to go to Arizona, we're going to go to Y, and we're going to travel there a bit and go to some nice restaurants and places, but then we're going to move on into Texas, a big state. And there's a place in Texas by the name of Uncertainty. Uncertainty, Texas. Don't you wish you lived there? But then after we've been to Uncertainty, we're going to move across a bit, and we're going to go to Tennessee. Tennessee, nice state. A place there by the name of Dismal. Dismal, Tennessee. And then we'll finish our day trips, our week together, and we'll go up into Pennsylvania. And the place I think we'll conclude is Panic. Panic, Pennsylvania. Now, believe me, these are all real names across the landscape of America. Every one of them. And you're probably thinking to yourself, there's no way I'll go on a road trip with him, right? Picking places like that. I'd like to reflect on what most people have been through in the last 2.5 years. Let's start out with why. Why? We started out 2.5 years ago when the World Health Organization started to tell the world, we've got a problem. There's something here we know very little about. And you are asking all the whys we can think of, and yet they didn't really have any answers. They didn't have the answers. So we moved on to the next place, and we moved on to uncertainty. It wasn't long before most of us were uncertain because nobody had real knowledge about this new thing, this COVID-19, that was impacting the whole world. But the best thing they could come up with was probably the right thing, was to say, we better react to this. Let's close all the schools down. Let's go remote learning for the schools. Let's close the places of worship down, places of entertainment, live entertainment, sports, all that kind of stuff. We can't be gathering like that. Wear masks wherever you go, and let's have spatial distancing, separation, 6 feet. We haven't got enough data yet, so it's still uncertain. And you know, it wasn't long before our attitudes got to the next place, dismal. It got pretty dismal, didn't it? Because every time you turned on the TV, you got a report of the last 24 hours, the number of new cases that have tested positive in our community, in our province, in our country. The number who were hospitalized, the number who were on life support, and tragically, the number who had passed away because of COVID. It was pretty dismal. And then we got to another part, the final place where we concluded was called panic. And you know, you can't blame some people for starting to panic because they were worried, they were concerned. Now let's stop there and go back to the Bible. In Genesis, the first book of the Bible, the first chapter says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. He said, let there be light, and there was light. He created mankind for his joy, to put joy into our hearts. Then let's move on a while now to Deuteronomy, when I read about the same God that created the heaven and the earth was the same God that led the children of Israel and inspired Moses to be their leader. Now today, people, the same God is with us. From the very beginning, the same God is our God. The God who assures us of his presence, his love for each one of us, that he will care for us just as he did for Moses in his time. He's with us. We are his people. What I didn't tell you was that if we'd have continued from Panic, Pennsylvania, and driven to West Virginia, another 6-hour drive, we would have come to a place in West Virginia by the name of Assurance. Assurance, West Virginia. That's what we want, isn't it? From our God. We want his assurance that he will be with us today in our world, in our environment, to assure us that he's with us. He's with us 24/7. Do we know that? Do we acknowledge him with us? Assurance. Jesus is mine. Blessed assurance indeed. God bless you.
Thanks again to the various choirs from O'Neill. It's been a treat to have you here this evening, and a blessing as well. And thank you, Erin Collins. And thank you, everyone, for making Bridge Over Troubled Water sound good. You should hear us sing it by ourselves. It's coming out on our next CD. Yes. Thanks, everyone, for coming tonight. It was special to see so many people out tonight, and I know that the Heritage Brass have enjoyed being here and playing a concert after so many years. So let's keep it going. Thanks again. We're going to end the program with something short and sweet. This is just an old Salvation Army march, the Red Shield.